And I got a lot of people saying, well, how could you coach? You're only silver. And that's okay, right? Who's this coaching for? They're saying. It's honestly for you.
I love gold!
When I did my video about the how to win every game as a jungler, giving you the 4 R's of jungling, that kind of stuff there, I got a lot of comments from that. And I got a lot of people saying, well, how could you coach? You're only silver. And that's okay, right? Who's this coaching for? They're saying. It's honestly for you, for the person who clicked on this video to look to get better at League of Legends. And honestly, it's just like you're here because you want to get better. That's who I'm trying to coach. That's who I'm trying to kind of impart this wisdom onto. I've played for a number of years here, and I've played anything from support all the way to jungle. I've played mid for a while. I've played ADC for a good amount, and I even mained top for like 2 seasons. I've done basically a little bit of it all. I have taken coaching classes. I have taken classes on different kinds of drafting and this and that, and it's amazing. It's good to see this kind of stuff. But honestly, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that it doesn't matter what level you are. It just matters if you know what you're doing. The thing is, of course, when I am silver, I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of silver. I'm trying to get to gold. And that's what I've said here. I've never been on the I've never really given you guys any inkling that I'm challenger, master tier, platinum, whatever. I've always said, I've always wanted to get to gold. It's in my name after all, Gold Knight, right? That's what I've been trying to do. And here's the thing. I have been just really, trying here to really do this stuff. And I think it's a really good thing that I'm at least trying to do here. Because I used to be, for years, stuck in the bottom of bronze. Even when bronze, when iron wasn't a thing. Bronze was the lowest you could get. I was stuck in the bottom of bronze for years. And the problem was, I took a couple different steps in the wrong direction. And I was playing the game with a different kind of look, a different kind of idea. And all I had to do was just change a couple things, and I was able to get out of bronze, and now just stay out of it. I haven't been close to bronze in, 3 or 4 seasons, if not more. And it is just a couple different things. It's really simple. And that's what I'm trying to do here. That's what I'm trying to impart on you guys, is just to show you that, yeah, it can be hard to get out of bronze. It can be hard to get out of iron. But you can do it. You, right there, who's watching this, who may be sitting in, Iron 2, and you've been playing so many games, and you just can't figure out how to win. Well, take these couple of tips. Probably going to be about 10 tips here that we're going to be able to get out of bronze or out of iron, and you're going to be able to get into silver, and maybe even into gold. And through this whole journey here, you and I will both learn some stuff, and it'll be amazing. Let's jump right into that video. Alright, so tip number 1. It's just going to be to pick 1 or 2 champions and just main them. The reason I say 2, a lot of people will say 1. The reason I say 2 is if you do pick someone who is either very popular and gets banned, or you pick someone who is popular in other roles, other people are either going to ban them or pick them away, and you're going to be lost and just be picking random stuff here. I would pick someone who's kind of not really in the meta right now, but that you can get really good at. Instead of jumping into ranked with that person and just throwing games out there and just tanking your MMR, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go into some normal games, and you're going to need to go in, you're going to play this champion just constantly, even jump on quick play, so you can secure that champion. And honestly, get that person to just get the mastery of that champion. I know mastery is a thing in League of Legends, in the actual game, but mastery is more than just the numbers on there. I think once you really get to tier 5 or Mastery 5, and it starts giving you the little tokens for, Tier 6 and Tier 7, and eventually they're going to be redoing this. That's one of the things they said in the whole, kind of looking forward into the year of 2024. And once you get into the Tier 6 and Tier 7 there, what you're going to be focusing on is getting those S games. And those S games are just the games that you really pop off with your champion. And that is something that I think you really need to kind of take a look at. When you, what did you do that game that you got an S? What did you do that game that you played really, really well, and look at where you are now? It's going to be amazing, right? You did so well that game. What'd you do? What'd you do a little different? And that's really just the best way to look at your champions. And those one or two, whether it be you pick something like Riven, if you're good at Riven, if you just think she's cool and all this, then I would just say try not to pick someone like that. Pick someone relatively easy. Pick a Scion, pick an Ornn, something like that you can play, and you figure it out within yourself that, all right, this is how I'm actually going to win the games that I'm actually playing. You pick those couple champions, you master them even further than the mastery in game. You master them. You watch people who stream that specific champion. You watch someone who plays Dr. Mundo, if that's what you want to play. If you want to play Sejuani, you watch someone who plays Sejuani. You want to play Kayn, which a lot of people do. You watch someone like Karasmai or one of the other Kayn players and all that. You want to watch Hecarim. I'm just, rambling at this point. But you find someone who you really like that you can watch them play that champion. And you focus on that champion and just learn little ins and outs. If you're a jungler, learn the way that their jungle route goes. It's very simple if you just know how to play that champion, and you're not anymore learning how the game works, or you're not learning how your champion works, you're learning how the game works. And that's the biggest part right there. That easily transitions me into the second rule here, which is take a minute to actually focus on the game and figure out, okay, if you're a jungler, if you're a support, if you're an ADC, whichever, figure out what it is that your champion needs to do to get a win. But you need to look at your actual bits of your win condition. That's something that I think a lot of people don't really focus on. Is if I personally, as a top lane Alawi, a lot of people like Alawi, especially at this low elo. If I play as Alawi and I am doing really well, okay, what does that mean going forward? What does that actually mean? Can I win this game for my team? And it's going to be on a game-to-game basis. It's not going to be something that you're going to look at and you're going to say, well, I should just win every time. I should get all the resources. I'm the best player on the team. Yeah, you might be. But you need to realize that, okay, bottom lane is kind of losing. They're in a ranged and a melee matchup into a double ranged. They're going to need some help there. You're going to need to know, okay, this is what I need to do here to actually make you guys, the rest of my team, I need to make you guys win. And it's simple once you get to that point. Tip number 3 is going to be something that I have been looking at for a while, and it's going to be that you need to know how to lose gracefully. I see a lot of people, they play something like, let's go back to the Alawi concept. I used to play Alawi quite a bit. You play Alawi and you know, you've played her. You went through step 1. You know how it goes. You know how she, her combos work, all this different stuff. But then you're up against a Jax, and the Jax is amazing. He's just winning all the time. He's pushing you back. He's getting a kill on you. He got another kill because he TP'd in. He turret dove, whatever. That should be your last death for about 10 minutes, if not longer. And I'm not saying you need to just be sitting by your turret. A lot of times I see people when they say, oh, play safe. What they do is they just sit by the turret and they just say, well, now what? I'm just sitting here, I can't get any farm. It's not what they're saying. If you have a way to, if you're into a melee versus melee, if you have a way to ranged get the minions, great. That's awesome. Allowy, Q, smack down and get that minion there, just so you are staying at least within XP range. Gold, you can make up later. The XP is something that you need to keep on par with the jacks that you're playing up against. It's kind of that simple. You just need to be able to keep that XP in kind of competition, and you dying all the time and actually trying, being like, well, I'm so tilted, I know I can kill him. Look at how little health he has. Oh, I can get him. Well, no, he just kills you because he's 3 levels up on you. You've died 6 times, and he has 2 items, and you're almost at 1. You're losing your team the game because you're trying to fight him because, yeah, he does have a little bit of health. You're right, he does. However, the problem is that he has that health with so much other stats there. And you need to realize that I'm probably not going to win here. These are things that I need to do to step back and actually just, focus on the game and the way it's working. Alright, so number 4 is going to be something that I think a lot of people are probably going to not be a fan of. And what that is it's actually going to be that you need to take a step back and step away from the game when you end up losing quite a bit of games in a row. If you're on a lose streak, you need to separate yourself. You need to figure out what's going on. What am I doing wrong? Let me look at my VODs. Let me look at anything like that and figure out what I can be doing right or wrong that really is making me lose these kinds of games. Is it my enemy? Is it the team? Is it my team is just horrible? So that's what's going on. Maybe that's what it is. But it also could be that you're having something that you're doing. You're being too aggressive at level 3. Or you're not being aggressive enough at level 3 when the other person's only level 2. Something as simple as just maybe putting another point into your Q instead of your E. Whatever. However it is that you're playing. That could just be the actual difference maker right there. I definitely think that that's something that a lot of people who are in Iron and Bronze do, is they just sit there and they play 10, 11, 12 games in a row, and they're just like, I won 2, and I lost another 3, and then I won another 1, and then I lost 4, and, I won another 3, and it was great, it was awesome. But, then you get to the point where you're at a loss, and you're just like, I feel so drained, I feel horrible, everything sucks, I'm at the level where I'm just kind of gaining 15 and losing 15 or losing 17 or whatever. It's because you're just throwing shit against the wall and you're expecting it to stick. It's not going to stick if you're just throwing stuff at the wall. What you need to do is you need to take a step back from the game, analyze it, maybe go get some water, maybe go get a snack or something like that, maybe get some glycogen going, get your brain moving. Do something, right? Something a little different than just sitting and playing at your game for 4, 5 hours, whatever it is. Maybe you need to take a break for a day or 2. Maybe you need to step away and just say, you know what? I'm going to breathe. I'm going to go play Minecraft for a couple days. Or I'm going to go into, you just play some Valorant. Or I want to go play my Call of Duty or whatever. See, if you want to stay competitive, that kind of stuff, do that stuff. You just gotta step away from the game, because a lot of times you get focused and you get stuck in a rut where you're just doing the same thing over and over again and you're expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And you don't want to be insane when it comes to trying to figure out the way League of Legends works. So number 5 is going to be, you need to sit there at your computer and you need to have the same kind of setup that you usually do in every game. This is something that they do for test takers, that kind of stuff. People who really need to really ace a test or something like that. one of the things that they say is that you should be, like, let's say you're studying for your exam, and your exam's at 10 in the morning, or whatever, class you're doing. So you're in college. Well, then, what you really should be doing is you should be kind of setting things up for success going forward. So, for example, test is at 10 a.m. Well, 10 a.m. the day before, and 10 a.m. the week before. However, what you need to be doing is you need to say, I'm going to grab lunch, or grab breakfast before my studying, and I'm going to study in this same way. I always chew gum while I'm studying, let's say. Or I always, I always have a sweatshirt on or something. And then if you can replicate that same performance in your exam, where you're eating the breakfast, you are chewing gum, or you have a sweatshirt on, or whatever, that actually lets your brain kind of put things together and say, oh, this is a really good thing. I remember, I was wearing the jacket, and then boom, I was thinking about this thing, and then that thing connected together, and just the connections that you can make in your brain from just being in the same spot as something, or like, chewing gum, and your brain is just like, oh yeah, when I chew gum, I think about this thing, and we think about U.S. history or whatever, and boom, we're good to go, we're golden, right? It's awesome. Like, that's just how your brain works. So set up your desk, your place wherever you play games. Set it up almost in the same exact way every single time. Keyboard's at this right spot. I know you guys know it. You sit there, you're like at your keyboard and mouse, you're like, something's weird, something's off. I don't know. I can't really figure it out. If that is the issue, you can't really figure it out, play an A-Rant. Figure something out. Like, be like, oh, you know what? It's because I'm sitting this way versus that way. Or whatever. Something like that is what you really need to do. It's just, it kind of lets your brain not so much think about your environment and like, oh, the fan's on. It's usually off. And, I'm feeling that extra wind, and it's really getting me. Like, I'm kind of colder than I usually am. So you're thinking about that instead of thinking about the game. That's something that you guys really need to think about. Because it's just that easy. Like, it really is when your brain is just not kind of thinking in its own way. If it's kind of just wandering, that's something that will really kind of stress your brain in a certain way that you don't even really think about. Number 6 is going to be, you need to turn off whatever's on that other monitor. If you have 2 monitors, most likely what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sitting here, you're going to be playing your ranked game, you're going to be hanging out, you're going to be vibing, jiving, that kind of stuff. And then you're going to put on the other monitor, you're going to be like, let me throw some Among Us. Responsibly the company. Let's throw on some, a stream, something like that. Let's put on some Hassan or Ludwig or something like that. I don't freaking know. Whatever you guys want to watch. Don't be watching it while you're playing your ranked games. Because your eyes are over here. Or your brain is over here at least. And you should be focusing on the game in front of you that you're working on. You want to get out of bronze, right? You want to get out of iron. Why are you watching people play right now? Like, what? Like, I understand. You want to play Minecraft while you do that? Sure. Great. Awesome. You want to play, I don't know, Rocket League while you're watching a stream or something like that? Cool. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. But if you're going to play League, especially ranked, and you're going to be playing something on the other screen, you need to figure that out, man. Like, that's not it, That's a way that you're going to be, again, it all comes back to your brain. It all comes back to that mental load. Your brain can really only focus on like 1 or 2 things at a time. You're focusing on playing the game. You're focusing on, okay, what is my enemy team doing? What is my team doing? What is going on here that is actually, how do I win here, right? But if all of a sudden you just end up like, oh, well, haha, that's a funny moment. Oh, that's great. Oh, wait, what did he say? You're going to be just distracted, and your mental load is just going to be on that versus on the game. and you're just not going to be able to focus. You're gonna think of something different. You're gonna play a different way. You're not gonna see that they flashed so that you can actually flash after them. Whatever, like that kind of stuff. You're gonna be lost here. It's just that easy, you know. Just try it out. Try turning this off, turning some music on if you want. If that's how you want to play. I usually don't like the music just so I can actually hear audio cues in the game, that kind of stuff. If you want to throw a little background music on, awesome, great. It's cool. Like, I like it when there's music in the game. Or music on the outside. But you can't have something just playing in the background. You can't have, you know, Northern Lion. You can't have even the LCS. You can't really have the LCS on the other screen. You need to be focusing on your game. That's what you're doing. You're doing your ranked games right now. If you want to play normals, you want to play ARAMs, and you want to watch something, do that. But in your ranked games, you need to focus up. And you need to just step forward and focus on just what's ahead of you. Then, of course, we go into number 7. And number 7 here is a big one for me. And honestly, I think that number 7 is you're going to need to learn the best builds for your champion. And I know that has to go a lot with your, you know, mastery of the champion or whatever. But you need to learn, like, what do the items actually do that you're playing with? You know? You just, oh, well, I'm going to pick, you know, I'm going to pick this, let's go ADC, right? I'm going to play this ADC Varus, because Varus has 2 very distinct modes. He has Poke Varus, where it's all lethality, and you're just going to be specifically picking things like the Cyclozord and Collector, and you're going to be picking Ghost, what is it, the Ghost Blade, and you're going to be just like, Yomu's Ghost Blade? That's what the word is. That was there. It was all in my brain. But you're gonna do that, right? And that's how you want to play. But you have to realize that you're playing that way. You have to be playing poke. You can't be playing on hit. You can't be worrying about, oh, and the teams are just gonna be autoing and all this different stuff. And, well, why is it not doing enough? Well, because you're not built that way. And if what you wanted to do was the on hit build, then you say, okay, well then how about I actually play with the on-hit items? Okay, I want to use, you know, I want to do Muramana. I want to do, Muramana's pretty good, you know, either way. But, you know, you want to do Rage Blade. You want to do the Blade of the Rune King. That kind of stuff. The on-hit build is very specific to the way you're playing. You're not going to be getting as much damage out of your Qs. You're not going to be getting, you know, so much damage out of your E or whatever. Like, you're just going to be less likely to play a certain way if you're realizing what your build actually does. If you're playing a champion who's just a tank and you're just purely just like, alright, I'm going to go to this recommended tab, I'm going to click here, click there, whatever. Okay. What are you building? Are you up against a full AP team? Because a lot of times on low elo, especially bronze and iron, you're going to get teams that just pick all AP, or they pick all AD. Now, if you don't know what an AP is and AD, AP is magic, and AD is physical. Now, if, like, you know, there is a difference in the game there. AP, usually, the magic part of it, usually has a lot to do with the way that spells attack you, whereas the AD will be more of an on-hit. They're attacking with an axe, or an arrow, or a sword, or something like that, right? But you need to realize that there's different defenses to this. If you're building a tank or something, well, if there's an all AP team and you're gonna pick up Sunfire, which has an armor item into it, you have to realize, like, okay, I'm gonna still take about the same amount of damage that I'm taking originally from these AP guys. Oh, okay. Well, instead of Sunfire, maybe I should be picking up the MR version of the new Sunfire in the game there. You have to be figuring out what your itemizing is going to actually turn into, and be like, okay, do I need more mana? Do I need more health? That kind of stuff. And what's best for your champion that you're playing. If you need a lot of mana, you pick a tier. You get. But if you're tanky, oh well, you can't really, stack a tier because you're not using your item, you're not using your attacks or your abilities to start triggering that tier. Okay, so instead, let me buy a frozen heart, something that has mana on it, but it's good for armor because I'm tanky and I'm not gonna, have to worry about too much stuff. You just kind of have to figure out what your champion is doing and what you want to do to be able to then go forward and figure out like how you should be building in the game. Tip number 8 is going to be learn to give up objectives. It's not going to work out. If you realize we can't take that dragon, or we're in the pit and we're taking the dragon, but all of their team is coming and they're stronger, we need to get out. Jump over the wall, flash over the wall, get out somehow. It's not worth your death unless you can secure your, whatever objective it is. Unless you can definitely secure it with your death. You need to not be just throwing things out there and being like, we could die for it, let's just try to flip it, 50-50 the Baron or whatever. Like, if you're losing and you're not going to win this fight that's going on here, get out. Be like, alright, well, sorry, you guys can have it. I'm not saying be a coward, I'm not saying play like a coward. I'm saying you need to really sit here and say, am I going to win this fight or not? We have all of our team here. Great. They are coming into us and we're able to poke them out, or we get a great engage. Awesome. Go on that. Do that. Defend the objective that way. Instead of just being like, oh, they're all coming in, they're engaging on us, and, well, they're here, so let's just fight. Let's just try. If we kill them, then we get the Baron, and it's great. We win the game. Until it's not. And until there's a point where we just don't get to win. Because we're just focused on we're just losing now. It's not good. You need to learn to give up those objectives if it really just warrants it. It's very simple in that point. Then number 9. Number 9 is very easy as well. And it's something that I have really been kind of thinking about as I've been kind of trying to build this video here. And number 9 is going to be that you need to be focusing your attention outside of the game on anything but League. You need to not be really worrying about oh well, tomorrow I need to be working on my this or that and this and that. No, you do your own thing. You focus on your life. You focus on doing what you need to do. League will be here when you come back. League's not going anywhere right now. You're focusing on your relationship, or you're focusing on whatever in your life. Focus on League last. Yes, you need to get out of bronze. That's what you're looking to do. Yes, you need to get out of iron. That's what you're looking, to get out. But there's no reason it should be affecting your life. You shouldn't take those losses in the team environment and just saying well, everything sucks and it's affecting the way I, react to my parents or the way I react to my significant other or anything like that. It's just a game. That's what we're doing here. We're playing a game called League of Legends. Yes, it's frustrating when you're not winning a game. Yes, it is ridiculously frustrating when you go to play this game and there's people on the enemy team or on your team that are just either too good or are absolutely horrible. And it just happens. It does. It really sucks when that happens. When you just get to a point where you're just saying this sucks, everything sucks. You can't let that leak out into your personal life and affect what's going on around you, because then you're going to be in a bad mental place. You're going to, your significant other is gonna resent you for playing the game. Your family is gonna be like, look what this game's doing to them, all this. Your focus needs to be very positive, very, very just all right, you know what? We can actually win this. We can win this. We can do this. And that easily easily transitions me into tip number 10. And what that is that's going to be adopting a growth mindset. And that's what a growth mindset is, you might not know, is when you're looking at a game, you're like, we can win this game. We can focus on getting better in this game. And even if I lose this game, I'm going to get better. I'm going to learn something new this time that I didn't last time. The problem is, a lot of people are on what they call a fixed mindset, where it's like, well, I'm just going to either win or lose this game and that's it. That's just, unfortunately, how it goes. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. You're going to be focusing on learning something, either in-game, like with your champion, or learning something about, oh, you know what, we should have rotated at this level, or I should have gone here instead of there, whatever it works, you know? But you are trying to, you put yourself in that kind of idea of, I want to learn, I'm going to learn. That's just how it is, right? I'm going to learn this game. Of course I am. I'm going to win this game. That positive thinking will bring you it'll make you comfortable. It'll make you play a little bit, less stiff, like play, more loose and everything. It's kind of the same thing as playing like basketball, football, something like that. If you're just stiff and you're just like, scared about losing a game, or you're scared about, looking like an idiot or whatever. Well, the problem is that you need to not be really thinking in that way. You need to say, we might lose this game, you're right, but we're going to learn something. That's how it goes. That's really just how it feels, When you're playing a game, you're like, yeah, I have been learning stuff. This is great. That's something that I really have looked at myself, and that really took me to the next level when I was playing my ranked games, when I was just bronze. I luckily was never iron, because iron didn't exist. I would have been iron. But it honestly just took it another step where you just say, I'm going to get better here. I'm going to do what needs to be done to learn how to get better. That's what I want to do, so that's what I'm going to think about, right? That's what I'm going to actually, focus on. I'm not going to be focusing on, oh, my team's going to suck this game. Oh, look at us, we're losing this draft. You're in bronze, you're in iron. The draft does, to a point, matter, but a lot of times it's just who plays better. You could have two equal teams, drafting-wise, and whoever plays it better wins. You could be losing the draft completely. You have an all-melee team into an all-range team, and you just win because you're playing better on the day. Even on that game. It's that easy when it comes to, just changing your mindset. Just saying, this is what we're going to do this game. But that, guys, is going to be the end of our video today. If you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like, hit subscribe, hit follow, wherever it is that you are. And I am thankful to be here with you. Thank you for watching, as always. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.